सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडतरकला यावली लोभनीयं पीयूषाप्लावितोऽहं तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशं तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च।
गुरुपवनपुरे हन्तभाग्यं जनानाम्. Namaskaram. Namaskaram to all the astikas that we have been trying to understand the Srishti Kramam. The way in which the Srishti has happened, of course, it is always intertwined with Pralayam. As described in the Bhagavata Mahapurana and as summarized by Narayana Bhattatri in the 8th Dashakam. So when the Pralayam happens, he describes various Pralayam, Mahapralayam, Naimitika Pralayam. We have also discussed Nitya Pralayam. When Brahma seeks to seek refuge in Bhagavan, when the entire Srishti becomes a part of his abdomen, that is when we have the 8th shloka coming into picture. The 8th shloka goes like this. Chaturyuganam cha sahasramevam tvaif prasupte punaradvitiye kalakhya shaktihi pratamah prabruddha prabodhayastvam kila Vishwanatha. Hey Vishwanatha. Look at the name that he uses. Hey Vishwanatha. The one who is the Lord of the entire Vishwam. Now that the Vishwam has undergone Pralayam, what happened to it? He says, Hey Vishwanatha. Evam, the Lord of this entire universe, Paramatma, Tvai Advitiye Prasupte. While you were in your yogic slumber, Prasupte, Advitiye, there was no second. See, now there are two meanings to it. He alone existed. Eko havai Narayana Sita na Brahma na Ishanaha na Medyava Prithvi. Says Upanishad. Eko havai Narayana Sita. There was only one. Ekameva Dvitiyam. There was only one. There was no one like him. And there was no second to him. See, the object could be inferior. That object also didn't exist. The object could equal him. That equaling object didn't exist as well. So, equaling object nor an inferior object existed. Tvai advitiye prasupte. When you alone were in your yogic sleep, no one else existed. Sahasram chaturyuganam cha. For 1000 chaturyugas. Punaha kalakhya shaktihi. Then your power called time. So there is a power that is associated called the time. Prathama prabuddha. Having woken up first. That woke up first. Prabodhayat tvam kila. Kila. That awakened you, because Bhagavan has told Kala Tattvam, when my sleep is going to go to a close, that time Srishti has to begin. Wake me up. So that Kala Tattvam, which is subservient to him, Prathama Prabuddha, that woke him up first, Prabodhayat tvam kila. Thereby it awakened you and said, Vibudhyachatvam jalagarbhashayin vilokalokan akhilan pralinan teshveva sukshmatmataya nijantaha sthiteshu vishveshu dadatha drishtim Hey, Jalagarbhashayin, you are Sheshashayin. That Shesha is you. Now there is water everywhere. Jalagarbhashayin. Garbhashayin. This is not Pralayarnavam. This is Srishtyarnavam. That is, those waters which will cause, which will bring into effect Srishti. So, for example, a child as a fetus is there within the mother's womb. That time you call it the amniotic fluid. So this fluid sustains the child. So that is the causal waters. So he says, Jalagarbhashayin. Now that Pralayam is over, now Srishti has to begin. So he says, Jalagarbhashayin, the one who reclines on the causal waters. Tvamcha vibudhya vilokya. Then on waking up, because Kala Tattvam has woken up Bhagavan. So he says, Tvamcha vibudhya. So it has woken him up. Vilokya, after having seen him. Akhilana lokana, all the worlds that were seen. Pralinana sukshmataya. Then they all merged into you. Earlier when they were all there in the sthulavastha, then during Pralayarnavam they went to sukshmavastha, the subtle form. Pralinana sukshmataya. They all went into you. They became your body as a sukshma shariram. Dadatha drishtim teshu vishveshu yeva. Thereby you cast your glance on the worlds themselves. So thereby you start seeing the entire world. Nijantaha sthiteshu, which were inside you. So you start seeing these worlds. See, earlier they were outside. Pralayarnavam they went as Bhagavan's Shariram. Then he asked Kala Tattvam to wake him up. As he wakes up, he looks at them. So his mere look becomes the Sankalpa Shakti for creation. So he says, Nijantaha sthiteshu dadatha drishtim teshu vishveshu yeva. So you cast your glances on the worlds everywhere. Next shloka. Tatastvadiyadainabhirandrat udanchitam kinchana divyapadmam nilina nishesha padarthamala sankshepa rupam mukulayamanam ai tataha tvadiyat nabhirandrat. Then, now the causal waters have come. From this Srishti has to begin. So he says, Tvadiyat nabhirandrat. From your nabhi arose something. Ai tataha tvadiyat nabhirandrat. From that navel. Vedanta Deshika states this in Bhagavad Dhyana Sopanam. How do you know who is Parabrahman, who is Paramatma? He asks. So he says, as you take a stroll, in whosever nabhi there is pollen grains, because all this denotes how many Brahmas have sat, how many lotuses have come, how many Srishtis have been made, how many Brahmas have been changed, how many Brahmas changed, how many new Brahmas come, thereby how many Srishtis came. Nalikena spurita rajasa vedhaso nirmimana ramyavarta dyuti sahacharim ranganathasya nabihi. Ranganathasya nabihi, in that nabhi of Ranganatha came this, he says, Udanchitam kinchana divya padmam mukulaya manam. So in the shape of a bud, from that nabhi randram, in the shape of a bud, nilina nishesha padarthamala sankshepa rupam. When all of that we see in this creation is in a subtle form, nilina nishesha padarthamala sankshepa rupam. They are all in a sankshipta bhagam. They are all in a small form. So mala sankshepa rupam nilina nishesha padartha mukulayamanam. In the shape of a bud it came, and on that bud was seated Brahma. How do we understand Brahma seating? That is where the next shloka says, Tadetadamboruha kudmalam te kalebarat toyapathe prarudham bahirniritam paritaha spuradbhihi swadhamabhir dvantamalam nyakrintat. So he says, Tat yetat amboruha kudmalam. That lotus bud which was said before, amboruha kudmalam, prarudham toyapathe te kalebarat, which arose from the causal waters from your body. So there are causal waters, from that was your body, from that nabhi, that hole came a padmam, and seated on which niritam bahihi, having come from those causal waters, there he says, Nyakrintat Dhvantam Ala. Dhvantam Ala, the darkness was removed immediately. When darkness was caused by the stealing of the Vedas, thereby Brahma having lost his path, that is when Parabrahman, Paramatma appeared as Hayagriva Murti. We must say, Jnananandamayam Devam, Nirmala Sphatika Kritim, Adharam Sarvavidyanam, Hayagrivam Upasmahe. How is he? Swatasiddham Shuddhas Phatikamani Bhu Bhrit Pratibhatam, Sudhasadhrichi Vidyutibhiravadatat Tribhuvanam, Anantaistrayantair Anuvihita Hesha Halahalam, Hatasesha Vadyam Hayavadana Nidhi Mahimaha, Samaharasamnam, Pratipadam Rucham, Dhamayajusham, Layaf Pratyuhanam, Lahari Vitatir Bodha Jaladehe, Kathadarpakshubhyat Kathakakula Kolahalabhavam, Haratu, Antardhvantam Hayavadanam. Antardhvantam, the darkness has to be removed internally by Hayagriva. Externally, when the Nabhi, from the Nabhi came the lotus. Nyakrintat Dhvantam Ala Swadhamabihi Spuradbihi Paritaha. With the own brightness which was spreading everywhere came this beautiful aspect of lotus. Now what happened to that? He says in the next shloka. Sambhulla patre nitaram vichitre tasmin bhavad virya dhrite saroje sapadma janma vidhira virasit swayam prabuddha akhila vedarashihi tasmin nitaram vichitre. In that most wonderful Chitre, I don't know how to describe it, says Bhattatri. Saroje Samphulla Patre. That lotus which has got fresh petals. So he says Saroje Samphulla Patre. Those patram, large patram of this lotus. Bhavad Virya Dhrite. Supported by your yogic Shakti. See, every part of Srishti happens only through Bhagavan's Sankalpa Shakti. So he says, Bhavad Virya Dhrite Saha Padma Janma Vidhihi Swayam. That Brahma, that Janma, the one who is born of lotus, Padma Janma Vidhihi Swayam. Vidhi means Brahma. Remember this, Vidhi means fate. Vidhi means Brahma. So somebody said on a lighter way, we say that everything depends on fate. Who writes our fate? Brahma. So Vidhi writes our Vidhi. So Saha Padma Janma Vidhihi Swayam. So we have seen there was darkness everywhere, causal waters everywhere. On that Adishesha, which is Bhagavan himself, Bhagavan was reclining. From that Nabhi came a Sarojam. That lotus was able to expel the darkness that was all around. Seated on that lotus, Saha Padmajanma Vidhihi Swayam. That Vidhi, born of a lotus called Brahma, was seated. Prabuddha Kila Vedarashihi Avirasit. Who knew all the Vedas. So at one point in time when he didn't know the Vedas, he lost the Vedas, Bhagavan came as Hayagriva Murti. This time there was no loss of knowledge or of the Vedas. So Brahma was born with a fed-in knowledge. He already had the prerequisite knowledge. So he says, Avirasit Prabuddha Khila Vedarashihi. That Brahma came out. See, I told you very clearly in the previous episodes as well. Bhattatri has been time and again saying lotus, 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 Padma, Pankaja, Saroja, Amboruha. Why so many times lotuses? Maybe, sir, Brahma is seated on the lotus, Bhagavan is the lotus eye lord. So the lotus eye lord created the lotus seated on which was Brahma. Since it deals with Brahma and his creation, there is mention of lotus. Yes, but the last shloka gives us a hint. And this has a great connection to the sage of Kanchi called Paramacharya, which is a very important shloka in the next episode.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 Narayana